Hello goat lovers, this is Crystal with Blue Cactus Dairy Goats. What started with 4 chickens and 2 goats quickly grew into a lifestyle. So we moved, got more land, and of course, more goats. Follow our adventures as we grow our herd, our food, and our family. Another batch of cheddar in here. So of course we're back at the cheeses. So I wanted to try cheddar again, but this time I'm doing just a little bit of a different technique. So the last batch of cheese, it did turn out really good, but where I ran into I just felt like the curds, I couldn't get them to equal sizes. So once I had to, it's easy to cut them crosswise, of course, and get them to a 1/4 inch or close to. But once you have to start cutting in between, it's like I just had curds that were all different sizes, and very large ones. Some were good, some were not. And while you're trying to let the whey release, I guess the purpose of it is so that all the whey releases in these curds, at like the same time. So I found a video, it's kind of like old school, my husband did rather, like old school cheese making, how they used to do it. So they wouldn't cut it in between, it's still cheddar, but anyway, they wouldn't go in between, they would just do crosswise, let it sit for an hour and a half so that a lot of that whey releases. And then you go in here with your hands, very, very, very clean hands, and you're just gonna slightly, break them up. Which you're not going to do anything hard, you just kind of lift them and then they start breaking up. So that's what I'm going to do this time to try to see if I can get a more even curd while I'm getting it up to 98 degrees. So wish me luck on that. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start doing that and put it on super, super low. I think also my first cheese, maybe that's what I did. I got it just after doing more research because it never ends. And at first I thought that if you're making a cheddar, it has to be exactly this way. If it's a jack, it has to be exactly this way. And you couldn't vary from it. It was that close of a scientific experiment, if you will. But the more research you do, it's not that way. There's a lot of different techniques. I've even seen different, cutting the curds in different sizes. So I saw a recipe on draining the curds, taking them and putting them on a cutting board and cutting them evenly, putting them back in, and then doing it a second time after you cook them. So really there's a lot of different ways, and my goal here is to see if I can get 3 or 4 cheddars done and let them sit for 3 months, then we'll be able to see which method worked the best. So this particular one I'm going to start doing now, and see again if we can get those curds to equal sizes and not heated up nearly as fast as I probably did the very first time, which might have been my issue, but I don't know. We're learning. So let's do this.
I think you're becoming a curd nerd.
Hopefully. You ready for this?
Sort of. I'll miss them.
Me too. So sadly, it's going to be the end of our snow peas. But I can't believe we've actually had them this long. We are a couple days into June already, and because we had such an amazing May, they've produced for us all through May. But it's time to tear them out so that the green beans can start growing up there. So we're going to pick the last of the peas and tear them out, Emily and I. Are you sad, Emily?
Yes.
No more peas.
I used to come over here to snack, but now there's nothing to come over here to snack on.
Well, we got next year.
But that's next year.
Those will be green beans soon. Alright, now that Emily and I got that all done in the garden, let's go check on these boys and see what they're up to.
Cliff is pretty suspicious.
Emily's cat Cliff. Some happy chickens. Alright. So we, Derek and Darren rather, have been fixing up this pen. We got some sturdier fencing. So now they're making some shades in here. And over here, well, their little structures are looking pretty rough. They need a makeover. So we're gonna kind of just beef them up a little. I keep saying we. I'm just gonna let my husband and son do it. But yeah, these structures have been really great. But
The goats have been kind of destroyed.
again, they need a makeover. So we're just beefing them up so that they have the shade. Because man, we're in the 90s, close to 100s now. Our spoiled time with the weather is over. Do you love your little shade? Do you love it in here, you big polar bear? Jane boy. His little spot.
He's so grumpy.
So these spoiled goats have been grazing all week, and I'm talking quiet because I want to actually find them grazing. But we gave them a really, really large area here in the backyard. Oh, I see him over there. Let's go get him. That's a weird cat. So yeah, this had they're trimming up the trees. All of these weeds are gone.
Not poor plant.
They've really put an eating on it, which is cool.
And this plant
They're
has
just
been
so
destroyed.
happy grazing. I love watching them graze. They love it. There they are. They spotted us. Look at all this. They have eaten most of it down. They just get to eat all day. They love it. Hi, girls. What's going on? Hi. What are you doing? Oh. What are you doing? Mayo.
Cliff. They're goats, not dogs. Hey,
Oh.
shush your pipes.
Look at this. Hi, Cassie. She's such a loner like her mama. She's like, every once in a while you find that exception to the rule goat that could totally not need another companion goat.
But Kimmy,
Her and her mama are definitely two of them.
But Kimmy has been protecting Cassie lately.
You girls having fun? Hi, Cammy. Hi, Cammy. What are you doing?
Keep your pipe shut.
You stop. She's scared.
He. Mom, it's a he.
You're so pretty, Mayo.
Oh, my tree is being destroyed.
Yep, they love it.
Where's the
I
dogs?
love it.
Where are the dogs?
Pretty cool, guys. Saves us a lot of money when they spend the days eating. Grazing, sorry. Not cooped up in a pen. So, for a week, they've had this area. And it goes even back further the other way too, but they haven't really touched it just yet. Very cool. All right, bye, girls. All right, so we got all the peas picked, and I realized some of these garlic heads are huge, and you can smell the garlic. So I'm gonna check a few. We might be harvesting some garlic as well, which it's been a long time since we harvested garlic. So that'll be cool. All right, check this bad boy out. He's big. Let's do it. Oh my goodness. Yup. Get that bad boy. See if I'm growing another one there. It smells like garlic. Okay, so yeah, clearly some of these are ready. So I don't know that all of them are, but I'm gonna get at least the ones that are. Found one she thinks is ready. Yank it. Some serious rootage. Here, put all the dirt over, you know, get the root clean over the hole there.
That's really clean.
Good find, baby.
Yeah. Biggest one. Thick.
Okay, that's a good harvest. We got these bad boys cleaned. So I'm gonna go braid them together and hang them so we can dry them and eat them. Thanks, Emily.
You're welcome. Has my AC been on this whole time?
Yes.
Why didn't you tell me?
What's the problem with it?
My windows were down. Mom, you're recording.
Gotta learn. So we are going to get Kaylee some driving in before she goes to work. We're gonna go next week. She gets her, hopefully gets her driver's license. So we have her driving. We have her driving test scheduled. So we're really hoping she's gonna pass because it's time. And we're gonna go to where they have to actually parallel park for the driving test to see how she does there. She's been doing pretty good in the yard, doing really well in the yard actually. We actually switched out trash cans so she could see the cones, trash cans rather, a little better. But she's been doing really good.
Yeah, I'm a pro. Stop recording.
She's not a pro. Alright, we're here, so Kaylee's gonna learn on these cones. She's got a lot of room here actually, but there's a real curb, so it's making her frustrated. She did it. You did do it. I don't know that they're going to want you to pull up so close to these cones. They might want you to stay somewhere in the middle, but good? Are we good? Do you feel better about yourself?
No.
No. Alright, we're giving her one more shot at it. She's done it pretty good about 5 times, so we'll see. Boom. She did it. So, third attempt at the cheddar. I learned a lot from this third attempt because you know how like I just cut the curds in strips, if you would, and I let it sit for an hour. And in that hour and a half even, so much whey released from them. And then I was able to break them up into pieces that were quite even with each other. So I really liked that method as far as using your kitchen tools you were born with. So I think I just let it release the whey too long before I started separating it. As soon as I touched it, I could tell some of those strips of curd were almost rubbery. It was like almost like the outsides were too rubbery. I don't know. So I learned a lot just feeling the texture and actually using my hands. So I don't regret doing that, and I'll probably do that way again. But I think I'm just not going to let the whey release as long. I think I'm just going to try 30 minutes instead. So, kind of like with the first batch of cheese, if you guys look. After I pressed it, and I pressed this one a lot longer, but I could tell really there was just like this one crack. And everything else looked okay. But now as it's drying out, there's a lot of cracks. There's really a lot of cracks in it. So the more it dries out, the bigger these cracks are getting. So it's kind of like, you know, the curds are not sticking together as they should, obviously. And I think, like I said, because I left it sit too long and I let the curds, you know, they just get rubbery or something. Like they don't have this smooth texture, this soft texture to them. So I'm not going to just throw this away by any means because we're learning. I was a little bit bummed out, but that's okay. Next time, I'm just going to not do it as long. So anyway, I also read, like, if a cheese is cracked or something, if this happens, you know, what do? You obviously can't wax it. All the wax is going to get into it. If I just let it sit here, it's just going to continue to crack further. And then if I... anyway, I saw somebody who had said you can Ziploc it. Not Ziploc, but the freeze lock, where you put it in the bag and you suck all the air out. So it does not age as well if you do that, but at least it won't be contaminated and, you know, wax isn't going to get into it. So I'm going to try that and see if it works. So there you go. Batch number 3. Not perfect, but maybe not ruined. We'll see. I am very happy with the progress the boys made today. We really needed to get that done. You know, our little shanties, our shade shanties are kind of falling apart, and they got one of those done, but really cool. We got our buck pen moved, so this pen behind me here is actually beefed up, new fencing, and it has 2 shade structures plus the igloo. So But the boys are a lot happier because we did have them previously on the other side of the chicken pen. There's a pen on that area that's where they kind of were. So they were kind of back behind everything and they felt left out. So I'm glad to have them here now. So, what are you boys doing? Your butts are in the air. Trying to get that grass. What are you doing? Alright, so got the little gate in. We got that shade structure and that one over there. And they are a lot happier. And they're going to be so loud in the morning because they are loud. Aren't ya? Boys are loud. You guys like that grass, huh? This pretty boy here that Maddie surprised us with one beautiful morning. His name is Batman. And he is going to Alabama. We gotta get his health check, but he's got another week with us. He's so pretty. So yeah, like I said, he's heading to Alabama. We have had a lot of goat kids that have gone to lots of different states this year, so I'm getting a hold of everybody, or trying to at least, to get an update on everybody so that I can, give you guys an update on where they all traveled, where all the kids we sold, where they went, but lots of different states, and Batman will be our first to go to Alabama, so that's pretty cool. Boys are such brats. Alright, you guys, look at this. It's in shambles. So Derek took the top, just the old ruggedy piece of plywood, and actually used it over here in the little buckling pen, up on the sides there. But look at this. Love it. So, got a makeover. We didn't have to replace everything, which is awesome. But now the top is a lot bigger. Some nice new strong plywood. And the goats will love it. So they got one of these done today. And the other two are next. So, this is the milker pen. They will be happy with their new little shade. The other goats, they'll be fine. It's not going to rain tonight, so. So this whole area is going to be our barn. We never intended to spend a bunch of money or make the best, fanciest pens. And in reality, a lot of the goat world, we don't have the money for it, period. So we want goats, but we're not filthy rich. So these pallet structures have worked really nice for us. Cheap, and it does the job. So, you'll have to beef them up from time to time, but the ones we've had here, we've had for a year and a half. So, for a year and a half, we haven't had to beef them up, and now it's time. But this area is actually going to be our barn, hopefully in a couple years. So, all this fencing will be taken down and we'll have a barn, which I can't wait for. I can't wait. It'll be so cool. So, anyway, making some improvements, getting there, and not quite done yet, but that's okay. It's always work, right?